The morning my daughter-in-law announced she was redecorating my living room, I was standing at my own kitchen sink, washing dishes she had left from the night before. She didn't ask. She simply walked in holding a stack of paint swatches and said, "Ruth, I was thinking dusty rose for in here. It'll brighten things up." I turned off the faucet, dried my hands on the dish towel hanging from the oven handle, the one my late husband Charles had embroidered with a small cardinal the Christmas before he passed. I looked at her. She was already holding a swatch against the wall, tilting her head like the decision had already been made. That was the moment I knew something had shifted in my own home. I just didn't know yet how far it had gone. My name is Ruth. I am 67 years old and I have lived in this house in San Antonio, Texas for 31 years. Charles and I bought it the year our son was born, when this neighborhood still had more dirt roads than paved ones. We planted the live oak in the front yard ourselves, the two of us, on a Saturday afternoon in October with a bag of mulch and a bottle of sweet tea. That tree is taller than the roofline now. Charles never got to see it grow that tall. He passed 6 years ago quietly, the way he did most things, and I have lived here alone since then. Alone, that is. Until my son and his wife moved in. It started the way these things usually do, with a phone call that sounded reasonable. My son called on a Tuesday evening, which was unusual because he typically texted. He said they were having some financial trouble. His wife's car needed a new transmission. There were credit card balances that had gotten away from them, and their apartment lease was ending. Just a few months, he said, just until they got back on their feet. I said yes. Of course, I said yes, he is my son. He was 41 years old and sounded embarrassed on the phone. No mother worth anything lets her child be embarrassed without trying to fix it. I told him the guest room was already made up. I told him I'd clear out the hall closet. I told him we'd figure it out together. That was 14 months before the night of my birthday dinner. The first few weeks were fine. There was an adjustment, the way there always is when people who love each other try to share space. My daughter-in-law liked the television louder than I did. She rearranged the spice cabinet without mentioning it, and I spent 3 mornings looking for the cumin before I found it in a basket on top of the refrigerator. Small things. I told myself they were small things. My son had found contract work, enough to cover his car payment and their personal expenses, he said. I didn't ask for rent. I told myself it was because they were saving up. That's what I needed to believe. But the months moved and the saving didn't seem to be happening, and the expenses seemed to grow in the other direction. My electricity bill climbed in the summer, which I understood 2 more people in the house, the air conditioning running all day while my daughter-in-law worked from home. The grocery bill was harder to explain to myself. I would shop on Mondays, come home with enough for the week, and by Thursday the refrigerator looked like it had been visited by strangers. I started keeping a small, separate bag in my bedroom yogurt, a few apples, some crackers, because twice I had come downstairs for breakfast and found nothing left except half a bottle of hot sauce and some expired mustard. I did not say anything. That is the part I have to sit with even now. I did not say anything for a very long time. My grandson Eli was the one bright thing in all of it. He was 16, my son's boy from his first marriage, and he came to stay with us on weekends and some school breaks. He was quiet in the way that teenagers sometimes are, not sullen, just thoughtful. He helped me carry groceries in from the car without being asked. He sat with me on the back porch in the evenings, drank lemonade, and asked me questions about Charles, about the early years, about what San Antonio looked like before the highways came through. He called me Grandma Ruth, and he meant it the way it was supposed to be meant. It was Eli who noticed things before I did, I think. Or maybe he noticed them at the same time and just didn't know what to do with what he saw. One evening in October, he came and found me in the garden, deadheading the marigolds along the back fence. He stood there for a moment, just watching, and then he said, "Grandma Ruth, are you doing okay?" I looked up at him. He was tall now, taller than his father, with Charles's same serious eyes. "I'm fine, sweetheart," I said. He nodded slowly. "Okay," he said, and he sat down on the garden steps and stayed there until the light changed. I appreciated the company more than I knew how to say. The dinner was my idea. That is something I have to acknowledge because it matters. My 67th birthday was on a Friday in November, and I thought it might be a good occasion. All of us at the table together, a real meal. Maybe some of the tension that had been building quietly all autumn might soften over a pot roast. I asked my daughter-in-law if she would like to help me plan it. She said, "Sure, absolutely." She would handle everything. I shouldn't have to do a thing on my own birthday. I should have understood then what handling everything was going to mean. She ordered the steaks online. I didn't know that until the box arrived on Thursday because I was not consulted on the menu. She ordered 2 ribeyes, thick ones, and some kind of fancy compound butter that came packaged in gold foil. She ordered a bottle of wine I had never heard of. She made a side dish she had seen on a cooking show, some kind of truffle pasta that required ingredients I would not have known where to find. I came into the kitchen Friday afternoon to start cooking, and she was already there, apron on, looking purposeful. She smiled at me and said everything was under control. "What can I make?" I asked. She paused, then gestured toward the counter, where there was a casserole dish with a glass lid. "I saved you the chicken from earlier in the week," she said. "I thought it would be easier since we're doing steak for the main." I looked at the casserole dish. Inside it, I could see the remains of a chicken I had roasted on Wednesday picked over, the carcass mostly bare, maybe enough for one modest serving if I stretched it with something. "That's my birthday dinner," I said. I did not say it as a question. "Well, steak is so heavy," she said, already turning back to the stovetop. "And you always say you prefer lighter meals." I had never said that, not once in my life. Charles used to joke that I could eat pot roast in July without complaint. I stood in the doorway of my own kitchen, in my own house, on my own birthday, and looked at that casserole dish with the leftover chicken. I felt something settle in my chest, not anger, something quieter, something that felt almost like clarity. I heated the chicken. I sat at my own table while the steak sizzled. My son opened the wine and poured 2 glasses, one for himself, one for his wife. He did not ask if I wanted any, and I did not ask because by then I understood the shape of the evening, and I didn't want to require anything from either of them. We ate. They talked about a streaming show they had been watching, some home renovation competition. I ate my chicken. It was dry. I had salt and pepper and a glass of water. I sat in the chair at the head of my own table and watched the candle she had lit in the center burn down about 1/4 of an inch. After dinner, my son brought out a grocery store cake. White frosting, roses in the corners. "Happy birthday, Ruth," written in blue gel. He smiled like everything had been lovely. My daughter-in-law took a picture of it on her phone before cutting it, which I thought was an interesting priority. After the cake, when my son had moved to the couch and was already half asleep in front of the television, my daughter-in-law came and sat across from me at the cleared table. She folded her hands in front of her. She had the look of someone who had been waiting to bring something up. "I actually wanted to talk to you about something," she said. "There's this spa day I booked with my friends. It was a group rate, and it was a good deal. But the payment is due next week, and we're a little tight right now. I was thinking maybe you could help cover it just as an early Christmas present. It's about $300. I looked at her for a long moment. The candle had burned lower. The cake plate still had crumbs on it from my birthday cake. "You'd like me to pay for your spa day?" I said. "Just as a gift," she said. "For the holidays." I said, "I would think about it." I told her I was tired and I was going to bed. She said, "Of course, happy birthday. Good night." She said it like nothing unusual had happened. I went upstairs. I sat on the edge of my bed in the dark for a while. Outside the window, I could hear the live oak moving in the November wind. That sound it makes when a front is coming through a low, steady rush, like something exhaling. Charles used to say it was the tree talking. I used to tell him he was being fanciful. I missed him so much in that moment that I had to press my hand against my chest just to remind myself to breathe.